Matthew 18, 1 through 4. This is the word of God. At the time the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And calling to him a child, he put him in the midst of them, and said, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." This is the word of God.
We all want to be great among our peers. That desire is there. We want to be great than other people. We all have that desire. How do I know that? Just think about your childhood, our childhood. Now, when we are young children, either basketball or kickball, whatever game we're playing, we have two captains picking team. I pick him, her. Okay? Now, this might bring some bad memories from some of us. But first, we ourselves want to be captains. Either we like to pick rather than be picked. But even if we are not captains, we want to be picked first before others, not as the last. Like when you're standing there, it's like, me. Like we don't want to stand there until the last one, right? I know it's not even a big matter. You're going to be picked anyways. You're going to be part of a team anyways. But still, you don't want to be the last one. Like when there are uneven number of kids, so two teams are made and just leftover kid. I don't know. When I was young, little back in Korea, we call that person 깍두기. Nobody's happy and excited to be 깍두기. It's the name of kimchi. Like nobody's excited to be a 깍두기. We all want to be like me. I picked him first. Like, yeah. We feel great. I also wonder why when we go over the list of names, it's like so and so and so and so and so. Why do we always say last but not the least, so and so? Like, why do we say that? Is it because we don't want to offend the person? It's like, oh, we are calling your name last, but doesn't mean you're the least one. Oh, come on, we are just saying it in alphabetical order. You don't have to say last but not the least. It's nothing. But we all care. It's like, we don't want to feel like less than other people. We want to be greater than other people. This is why many people internally struggling by comparing themselves with other people. Consciously, subconsciously, sometimes they say that they cannot help themselves doing so. They're always constantly comparing the other people. Like, is mine better? His better? Hers better? Even the little things, it's not even anything, not a big matter, like including my cell phone, my shoes, my clothing, car, education background, degree, or look, or height. And let's not talk about height, but so especially among guys, like, do not stand next to me, go over there. Or marital strength, or marital status, or all kinds of things. They can happen even inside a church, and based on that, either we feel superior or insecure. We compare, it's like, oh, when everybody has this, I have a newest one. All those things based on the worldly that has no eternal significance. They are temporal, earthly, and fading away. What you should be concerned about is being great in the eternal kingdom, the glory from the Father which will last forever. Everything else that you try to feel like, I feel better than other people and great, that is temporal, fading away, earthly. What you should be looking for is being great in that kingdom of God. So the disciple, verse 1, at that time the disciple came to Jesus saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? I'm okay to be a 깍두기 of this world, but I don't want to be heavenly 깍두기. Just respond to Jesus' question that who is the greatest? We want to be great in the kingdom. What Jesus, or how Jesus answered to this question probably caught many people of the original audience of Jesus' time in surprise. So unexpected. Huh? Jesus did not point to someone who is taking a big role in Jesus' ministry. Not someone who is supporting Jesus' ministry in financial way, material way, in a huge way. Not someone who is very persuasive of others. Not someone who is very good teacher. Not someone who has very high moral standard, kept all the law of God. Jesus is not pointing someone or putting someone forward like a Pharisee who knew the scripture very well, almost memorize the scriptures. Like, he's not pointing to anybody there who has gifted, talented leadership. He's not pointing to anybody, not one of the disciples. Not Peter, not John. They are all good, being influential, supporting, being able to teach, keeping the high moral standard of life, all good. But that's not whom Jesus pointed to. This is the way you can be great. He put forward someone who seems to be far away from all those categories. If I put it in our modern day standard of church setting, he's not putting forward pastor, no elder, nor deacon, nor theologian or scholar, nor one who's been in church and served in many ways. No. He brings someone from preschool. Come here. Look at him. Well, what? We ask, who is the greatest in your kingdom? And you may wonder and think, hold on, not Pastor Billy? Not that elder? Not that deacon? Not that leader? That little kid? It's like, and look at verse 2. Calling to him a child, he put him in the midst of them and said, truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. You want to be great in the kingdom of heaven? Humble yourself like a child. But in fact, did you see in verse 3? Did you say, unless you become like a child, you will never even enter the kingdom of heaven. You cannot even enter the kingdom. Forget about being great in the kingdom of heaven. Unless you be like a child, you cannot even enter the kingdom. What does that mean? Before we talk about being great in the kingdom, we must be like children in order to enter the kingdom. Use your imagination. A little child standing in the midst of you, midst of us. Look at the child. Nothing is admirable about the child besides their cuteness. In the eyes of this world, they're cute, but the child has nothing admirable in the eyes of this world. Other than being cute, what do you want to have, or what do you want to be like them? They are weak. They are small. They don't have a big knowledge. They don't have a lot of experiences. So often they have lots of questions. They will ask you all kinds of things all the time. They can be very annoying to you. They are vulnerable. They are not rich. They get money time to time like New Year. And every time they get some money, the parents always propose a great idea that they will be a guardian of the money. And the money is gone all the time. They never have it, and they become poor again all the time. Yet they trust their parents next year again. As teenagers, if they want to be like a child or like an adult, they will say, we want to be like adults. They want to look like adults. Why? Because of this self-independency, this authority, this self-autonomous decision. I can make a decision. I don't have to listen to. I can get respect. Children get no respect. Who says, I respect children? I want to be adult so people respect me, treat me like adult. Children don't get respect because they are dependent beings. They are dependent beings. Which part of those that I mentioned do you want to be like child? Weak, vulnerable, poor, not much of knowledge or wisdom, and so and so. They need protection, they need provision, they need help and guidance. Now, let me put it this way. Think of it this way. What parents means to little children. What parents means to little children. If you have toddlers, you probably have to lock some of the cabinets in your house, which contains inside the cabinet like either chemicals or some breakable things so that they cannot open the cabinet and reach it. They need help and guidance. They do not have a discernment. We need to teach them what they can touch, what they can play with, what not to teach, what not to touch. It's like, this is hot, you be careful, don't go there. If your children are well trained, if you are at the parking lot, they will wait for you beside car. You will not let them running around in the parking lot. It's like, you go across, cars coming, it's dangerous, you can get hurt big time, come here, hold my hands, you gotta walk next to me. And you teach them how to be safe. The parents are their protection. The parents are their safety. Child look at the parents for a sign of approval. They look at the parents. Can I touch this? Can I play with this? Can I go there? And the parents gives them some sort of cue and nod. They're okay. They find what's permissible and not from the parents. Not only that, when they are little hurt, have you ever seen that before? If the mommy or daddy goes, oh, mama, this is time for me to cry. But if parents are, okay, they're like, moving on. When the child is hurt or sad, who do they look for? Obviously, mommy and daddy. Mama. Even when they are disciplined, they find comfort in their parents. Even he's the one, she's the one who just disciplined them, mommy or daddy. After the discipline spanking, if the mommy says, come here, and the child still goes to the mommy's arm and find comfort and rest. She's the one who just spanked you right now. It's like, but still, they find their comfort in their parents. Kids are okay wherever they go, even to unfamiliar places like new city, new house, new lodging place, even to a mountain at late night, as long as they can see their parents with them. But even if they are in some familiar house of their relative, at late night it's getting dark and they cannot see their parents, and the children get anxious. Why? To them, parents means peace, rest, security. They can be anywhere. They can be anywhere as long as they are with their parents. They're fine, okay. Whatever the circumstances I am in, I'm finding my security and peace and rest in and with my parents. You see what I'm saying here? Hold on, church. This is not a parenting seminar. I am not just talking about the parent and child here right now. I am acknowledging, making sense between God and us here. Whatever circumstance that I'm in, it's a new place, but I find my peace and rest and security in my parents. As long as I see, I'm okay. I never see my children worry about our family finances. I never see my children sitting in the kitchen and worry about how we're going to fill up the refrigerator because it's getting emptier and emptier. No, they never worry. They just tell me what they want. Just go to Target with them. You will experience what I mean by that. They don't care how you can get it. They will just declare to you, I want that! I want that! Milk! Candy! They don't worry about, can my dad buy that? Does he have money? How much did he make? No, it's just, my dad can buy it. It's a matter of, is he willing to give it to me? They see their parents as their protection, as their provider, help, comfort, rest, friend, hope, wise counseling, guidance of life, completely, wholly worthy of their trust. What parents mean to little children? Everything. Everything. You must humble yourself and be like a child before God. Not self-dependency, but reliance on God. Trusting His word. Where to go, what to do, what to touch, what not to do. Trusting His protection, His provision. He secures your future. Not your money, not your job. He holds my future. I trust your goodness and your love towards me. I turn to you. Teach me, Lord, in my sorrowful moment, in my suffering and struggling and pain, in my most fearful moment, I still turn to you. I'll find my comfort in you. Comfort me, God. Encourage me, God. Show me what to do. Lead me to the path of righteousness. Do not leave me alone. Help me. Without your help, I cannot live today. The complete trust and reliance. Or think, my brothers, sisters, my friends here in this place, are we more like prayerless, trusting my wisdom, my knowledge, my power? I cannot do it. I can do it. I don't need to seek Him. I don't need to turn to His word. I don't need to come here. I don't need. I can handle my life. Are you more self-dependent? Or are you relying on God like a little child? Unless you are like a child towards God, Jesus is saying, you cannot even enter the kingdom of heaven. In other words, you need to have faith and trust like a child. And you need to have God. Like what parents mean to a child. This is what God means to a believer. My everything. My hope. My security. My rest. My comfort. God. Now you must be like a child. I said you must be like a child in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. But more you humble yourself like a child, more you humble yourself like a child, greater you become in the kingdom of heaven. That's what you just said. Let me put it this way. When you read Bible, what impressed Jesus? Can you find it? When you read Bible study, what impressed Jesus? On what Jesus was amazed? What in the eyes of the Lord looked great? I'll give you an example. One of the story of many. The story of the Roman centurion. Roman centurion was a Gentile, and one day one of his servants, whom he cared so much, was sick. So he sent somebody to ask Jesus to heal his servant. And the Jewish people of that day held high in honor of the Roman centurion, respected him. He's a good man. And they plead to Jesus on behalf of him, yeah, you should heal this Gentile, this centurions. You should listen to his request. And Jesus was willing. So he got up, he was walking towards the house of the Roman centurion. When he heard about this, he sent him another man. Look at Luke chapter 7, verse 6 through 9. It says, when Jesus went with them, he's going to his house, Roman centurion's house. When he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy. He humbled himself. I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore, I did not presume to come to you, but say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I too am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. To another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. And when Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him. And turning to the crowd that followed him, said, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. What amazes Jesus? Wait. Hold on. Jesus knows everything. He doesn't need anybody to bear witness for him. He sees the heart of man. He knows what is in man. He is the Son of God. He is God. He knows everything. What can catch him surprised? You cannot throw a surprise party for him. He's going to say, I knew it. I knew all you planned. From the moment you planned it, I knew it. When these Jewish religious leaders plotted against Jesus to kill him, did Jesus know about it? Yeah, he knew it. They plotted it secretly, but he knew it. What can catch him amazed and surprised that he can be marveled at it? So we wonder, hold on. How can Jesus be amazed and marveled here? He knew what was inside of this man, so centurion. Though he knew it, it still amazed him. It's like this. I went to Grand Canyon probably 10 years ago. I don't remember, that long ago. I went to Grand Canyon last year with my family one more time. I knew it's Grand Canyon. That's what he called Grand. It's beautiful, awesome, big. I knew it. But when I stood before the Grand Canyon and looked down again, I was like, wow. I knew it, but it still amazed me. I know about rainbow, its color, I've seen rainbow many times in my life. But still, when I see a colorful rainbow in the sky, it's like, wow, that's beautiful. It still amazes me. Jesus knew it. The faith of the centurion. But that humble faith still amazed Jesus. He marveled at it. You see this guy's faith? How he humbled himself and trusted? That this is like, I am not worthy, Lord, to have you. I trust your absolute authority. Just say it. Just say the word. That's enough. And my servant will be healed. I trust your power. This kind of faith gets the attention of the Lord Almighty. Not your big accomplishment, not your wealth, not your fame, not your power, your influence, what kind of person you became now. Not the size of the church, not the building, not the decoration, but our faith gets the Lord's attention. Do you know what else gets his attention? Again, he says, he who humbles himself like a child, humbles himself like a child. You can bring me a photograph of you, took picture of with president, or someone who is very well known, like a Queen of England or very popular celebrity, and that will impress me. I'll be like, wow! But not to Jesus, not even a bit. Do you know what will impress Jesus? What you did to the little one, to a little kid, to the poor, to the needy, to the broken, the one who is in suffering, the one who is in agony, the one who is in sorrow, the weak, the outcast of the society. That you're standing together with that person, you care for the person, that gets Jesus' attention. He said, what you did to one of these little ones, you did it to me. The king takes a note of it, and he will never forget. Again, the glory of the church is not in the size or what we have here or the number of the people, but what we do with weak. Inside the church or outside of the church. Inside of us, our weak members or weak, suffering people. Someone who just came here and was wondering, one who was like, orphans or widows or lonely, needy, in or out of the church, what we do with them. Look at Mark chapter 9, verse 9. Here, chapter 9, verse 35. Here, the disciples of Jesus, they were arguing with each other. Who is the greatest among them? Among us, who is the greatest? And Jesus knew what they were arguing about. When Jesus said, what are you talking about? They stopped talking. And this is what Jesus said. And he sat down and called the 12. And he said to them, if anyone will be first, he must be last of all and servant of all. And he took a child and put him in the midst of them. And taking him in his arms, he said to them, whoever received such one, doesn't it sound very similar with our text? He says, whoever received one such child in my name receives me. Whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me. Jesus is saying, you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven? Go down and be a servant. Let your eyes be down there. Let your ears and hearts be down there of the social ladder. The broken, needy, socially outcast in your church or outside of church. Orphans or widows and so and so. What you did to them, you did it to me. Not only to me, you did to God the Father, the Almighty. Hey, I'm going to hang out with the CEO. He has a lot of network. Come, join me. You can build some network with him. Everybody wants to go and do that. But someone says, hey, I'm going to go visit so-and-so who's going through suffering. You want to come? Would you go? Mark 10, 42, 45. Let me end with this. And Jesus called them to him and said to them, you know that those who are considered rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great ones exercise authority over them. But it shall not be so among you. But whoever would be great, you want to be great? Among you must be your servant. And whoever would be first among you must be a slave of all. For, in other words, because even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Because even the Most High One became a servant of all. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? The answer? Jesus Christ. He's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Who is greater than the king in a kingdom? He's a king. But even the Most High One, because even the Most High One became servant. He took the form of a servant and came into the world. That's how he humbled himself. From the most high to the lowest, from the most powerful, he became weak, vulnerable, poor, small, like a child. To the point, the people of this world did whatever they wanted to do to him. They killed him. The most powerful one became like a child, weak and vulnerable, and humbled himself to that point, even to the cross. And he gave himself as a ransom for the broken, for the lost, for the vulnerable people who are unworthy, those who have without hope, who needs comfort, who needs no strength, who has no strength, who's sitting in darkness like orphans without help. We were like orphans without any help. No future, no hope, no peace, no security. And he humbled himself to serve us and save us all. And that Jesus, God the Father, raised him up above every name, that every tongue will confess that he is the Lord, that every knee will bow down before him, the greatest in the kingdom. You want to be great in the kingdom? Look at your elder brother, Jesus, how he humbled himself, how he served others, how he himself became like slave, how he cared for the broken and needy and poor. Be like him. Go after him. That's how you become great in the kingdom. Let's pray.